All righty. Welcome everybody to the April 1st edition of the Hamden County Radio Association monthly meeting. April is our annual show and tell. But anyways, let's start off with, I'm going to ask everybody to turn off the ringers to their phones. And I don't think any of you have barking dogs or yipping dogs or spouses. If you can close the door and put them in another room. And basically, we just don't want to interrupt the speakers. I'd like to remind everybody about the Monday night 10-meter net on 28,375. That's right in the technician band. So if you're a technician and you have HF capability, you can join us with the band's opening. We've had some DX come in the past, and turnout's been pretty good the last couple of weeks. And it's always a lot of fun to share an hour of conversation about certain topics and stuff. So that's 28,375 at 7 p.m. and everybody is welcome to join us. Going to remind everybody, if you shop on Amazon, to make make your charity selection the Hamden County Radio Association. The club does get a little bit, 0.5% or something of many sales, not all sales. And I know we just got our first deposit other than, a penny a month of interest. And I think the club made $28 recently. So that's a start. So a few of you have, and it doesn't cost you anything. You just set it up in Amazon, and every purchase you make, a little fraction of that goes into the kitty, and then once every 3 months or every 6 months, Amazon notifies us saying you have this amount, and it gets deposited into our account. There's directions on the website. There's directions in past issues of Zero Beat. And Ken, do we have it in current issues too?
Not right now, no.
Okay.
I can add it back in if you want, but.
All right, well, we'll worry about that. But it
Yeah.
is, the information is on the website though. Excuse me. The HCRA has 3 additional meetings coming up, mini meetings, the Share the Knowledge sessions, or STKs as we call them for short, in April. On this coming Tuesday, it's all about the W1QSL Bureau. What is it? How does it work? As presented by Eric, KV1J. On April 19th, we have Dennis, W1UE, is going to do a presentation about using propagation prediction software, which should be very interesting. And on April 26th, Tom, K1KI, from Suffield, just south of us a little bit, is going to tell us all about the New England QSO party and what we have to do to get ready to operate it. That's coming up in the first weekend in May. So it'll be perfect timing for Tom to talk about the history of it and what's involved. And the club, the HCRA, does sponsor a plaque for #1 low power in Hamden County. So, and I think last year, I believe Mike N1TA from Westfield won that. And he just got his plaque recently. The Zoom links are in the current issue of Zero Beat, and they're also up on the HCRA website. And I do send out reminders at least 2 or 3 days before each of the different meetings. So if you can join us, that'd be great. We try to do these little meetings from January through the end of April, and then we'll put it to sleep until next January. Gives us all something to do when the weather is cold and the nights are dark, and you don't want to, technically you don't want to really leave the house. So that's going to be good. So in April, we've got essentially 4 HCRA meetings, even though 3 of them are mini meetings. So mark your calendars, pick the ones you like, attend them, attend one, attend them all. And they're always very interesting. So far, the Share the Knowledge speakers have been very interesting. Aaron did a great one on JS8 call. It ended up being absolutely fascinating and a lot of fun by the end of the meeting. So that was just a couple of weeks ago, and the recording for that and all past Share the Knowledge sessions and all the past meetings are on hcra.org in the video section. Let's see here. Links, blah, blah, blah. For those of you that don't know, Nearfest is coming up. That's the big flea market, the New England flea market. Biggest, largest New England flea market. That's coming up April 29th and 30th. It's about a week earlier than it normally is. I think it's normally the first weekend in May. If you want to learn more about it, you can go near-fest.com and you can learn all about it. Let me see here. We are a bit more people in here. So if the weather's good, I'll be going up on Friday the 29th. And it's always a lot of fun. Wear comfortable walking shoes, dress warm enough for the weather. It's I think there are occasionally some new vendors up there. There are some lots and lots of stuff. Just about anything you can imagine. It's a lot of fun and bring lots of dollar bills. So that's Nearfest coming up on April 29th and 30th. Aaron, is there anything new or exciting that you can announce for the Franklin County group?
Not really. We're having our meeting Monday after next, and we're going to be talking about field day. So
excellent.
What we're doing, if anything, for field day.
Sounds good. And for anybody that's interested, you can go to fcarc.org. And Franklin County is up in the Greenfield area. It's about 60 miles north of Hamden County. And I see we've got some new people that have come in. Are any of the new people have come in? Are you going to be presenting? Do you have a project to present tonight? If you do, please tell me now. All right. We will move. I'm sorry?
No.
No, okay. That's fine. All right. So moving right along, and again, I'm Larry, WNAST. I'm the president of the HCRA and instigator of ideas and such. Do we have any other announcements that I missed or I forgot?
Right here.
All right. All right, Paul first.
I just want to let everybody know that April 15th is the target date for the next delivery of outgoing QSL cards to the Bureau. So if you have any ready by then, get in touch with me. I can arrange to pick them up, meet you, whatever. But on or about April 15th is what we're shooting for the next package of outgoing QSL cards to the Bureau.
Okay, excellent. Jeff?
Yes, there's actually going to be an FCC action happening on April 19th. The application fees will be implemented on the 19th. So it will require a $35 fee that is payable to the FCC. The VE teams will not be accepting any of the application fees. So if a person comes in, they take the test, they pass, they'll be handed a piece of paper as they walk out with instructions on how to go to the FCC Corey system and pay the $35 application fee. And recently the ARRL announced that it will not apply to upgrades. So upgrades are free. Hopefully, it came from the VEC, so I'm going to assume it's true. But I was waiting for the FCC to confirm that. I actually reached out to the FCC, and they haven't returned my phone call like usual. But so the upgrades are free. Administrative updates, like you got to change your name, change address, or stuff like that, that's still free. But things like renewals, vanities, there will be an application fee and there will be no refund. So if you go for a vanity and you do not get the vanity you wanted, you will not get your money back. So just wanted to throw that out there. And we're trying to get a couple of test sessions going on down here, both in Franklin and in Hamden County. I have West Springfield Library. I'm trying to get it before the 18th so we can get as many free exams done as possible. Back to you, Larry.
Okay, sounds good. What's your website, Jeff, in case people want to check there often for your testing group?
It'll be pioneervalleyveteam.org. It's all one word, or you can do Papa Victor Victor Echo Tango PVVET.org. They both go to the same place.
Okay, great. Thank you. Are there any other announcements too?
got
I
one on,
will,
Larry.
yeah, go ahead, Ken.
Yeah, I just want to say that as far as Zero Beat, if anybody has any submissions, to try to have them into me by the 15th of the month. And also I'm looking for one more for the remainder for May or June. I'm not sure which of the Share Your Shack. You know, I've got one lined up. I'd like to get one more person. Seems to have been taken off pretty well. So you can send them to KD1KU@ARRL.net.
And
Thank
for,
you.
oh, thank you very much. And by the way, Ken has been doing a phenomenal job with Zero Beat. Each issue has been 24, 25 pages. There's been the content is great. He's really taken it up to the next notch. So if you have anything that you want to contribute, you want to write an article, you want to write comments, you want to put something for sale, or you're looking for something, or if you're looking for help with an antenna project, contact Ken and he'll put it in Zero Beat, and we'll see what we can do. I was going to add something else and I forgot. It wasn't in my list. Sorry. 08. Oh, meetings. I've been in touch with the Holyoke Hospital where we pre-COVID have held our meetings in the auxiliary room, and they have told me that on April 8th they will be having a meeting and reevaluating opening their doors and letting groups meet in the auxiliary room again. So hopefully sometime on or around April 8th, I will know whether we can have meetings in person again, which will also give Jeff a place to do testing sessions. And we have our fingers crossed. I know we're all ready to meet in person. So we'll go from there. And sometime, like I said, sometime about a week from now, hopefully we'll have, it's a Friday, so I probably won't find out until a couple days later. So if everybody, prays to the meeting gods, then maybe a week from now or a week and a half from now, we'll be able to schedule our meetings in person, and hopefully we can coordinate with our May guest speaker to have him come down and give a talk, or at the very least do our election and field day prep meeting in the beginning of June. So hopefully that will be coming through. They seemed optimistic when they were talking to me, but as we all know, with the ever-changing COVID situation, who really knows? But hopefully that will come through. So watch your emails and watch your announcements. I'll be sending out word as soon as I know. And anyway, so moving on, Show and Tell is a meeting that we've held for years and years and years. It's been going on for at least 20 years, 15, 20 years. And it's basically we look for people that have done some sort of a kit or a project or something they've created in the last 365 days. We ask that they present it and talk about it. And then what I'm going to do is when you're done presenting, if you can ask from the group if there are any questions. And then if there's any general questions from there, we'll ask the judges, which are AB1ZA, WA10JN, and NV1Q. Sorry, I almost used your DK1TM call again there, Jurgen. Haven't gotten that out of my head after all those years. So Najim, Bob, and Jurgen are our judges tonight. We've got 2 prizes. I won't say what they are. But they're useful things for anybody that builds stuff. So something that's always useful. So far I've got Smitty KC1IKA, Jeff NT1K, John K1YYM, Ray A1SE, and Al N1AW. Would anybody else like to raise their hand and say they have something to present? And if not, I will turn it over to Smitty there. Let's see, and I just shared and opened up the sharing. So if you have a PowerPoint or slides or pictures that you want to present, anyways, the floor is yours, Smitty.
Thank you. Let me try sharing my screen here. See if that works. First time I tried this. There we go. And I click on there. All right. So, thank you for letting me be part of the show and tell again. I'm doing a portable WinLink station for HF, as you can see by the pictures. That's my car with the 7-foot tall HF antenna off the back, and that's the equipment sitting in the back seat of the car. So, what I did, or what I wanted to accomplish, I was setting up my radios at work during lunch using tent poles and dipoles, and I've only got an hour for lunch, and it was taking me 20 minutes to set up and another 10 to take down, and it didn't give me much time to play. So what I wanted to accomplish was something that was very portable, easy to set up, quick to set up, and quick to take down, which gave me the most options for radio time. Specifically, I wanted to concentrate on the WinLink because there's a WinLink Wednesday from Aries. So I wanted to do that. So I took my Lab 599 radio out of that big box that I presented last year and put it in a little box and added some stuff to it. And it's been quite successful. The Lab 599 is a great radio. It's easy to hook up, very low power consumption. It's about a 10th of a watt on standby listening and only up to 10th of an amp and only up to 2 amps on transmit. So very, very low power. There's a Digilink or a Digirig, which is very, very small. You can get the cables with it directly from Digirig. It's not real expensive. It cost me $50 for the Digirig and another $30 for the custom cables. So it wasn't that much to set it up with the radio. The case I got off of Amazon. It's actually made for Nintendo Switch. So it's got a zippered storage compartment. That's where I keep the battery. It's got straps to hold the radio in place. Fits perfectly, and lift that up and you've got storage underneath the radio. So it was real handy to store everything in there. And the battery, I initially had a lithium iron phosphate 7 amp hour battery underneath there, but it was bulky. It was a little bit heavier. I found this one on eBay, Talent Cell, $60. It's a 6 amp hour battery, so it'll run this radio quite a while. It already had, I didn't have to plug anything in, wire anything, add switches, displays. It already had all that in there. And it's got a USB 12 volt in and out for charging and draw, and also 6 volts and 9 volts. So it's pretty versatile for only $60. So that's some of the stuff I added. And then finally, there's the wire set. And I also added, of course, you need a USB-C cable to hook up the Digirig, and also your antenna and coax. And seeing as the radio is a BNC, you need either an adapter or a coax with the cable for BNC. If you're just doing voice, you don't need the Digirig and the tablet or anything else, just the radio and antenna. And I hooked it up in the car first time when I added the antenna. And within 10 minutes, I was talking to a guy down in southern New York State on 10 watts. It's a 10 watt radio. The things that I like about, as far as the antenna, I'm using the MFJ, the ham antenna whips. It's a base loading coil with the stainless steel whip on top of it, 7 feet tall. It'll handle more than what I need at 10 watts, but I wanted to tune it in advance. Seeing it's a QRP rig, I want the best tuning, so I get everything out of the antenna that I put into it. What I did there, initially, I was tuning the antenna to the digital end of the spectrum or the band, and I've got 80, 40, 20, 10, and 6 meter versions of it. They're only about $30 a pop, so it's not that bad. But what I called up MFJ and talked to their support people and found out that I can special order the stainless steel whip and the thing that holds it to the base load coil. So I've got one set of whips set to the digital end of the band and one set of the whips set to the side band, the voice side of the band. So for me to put up a 40-meter antenna with a digital end on it takes me less than 5 minutes. Another couple of minutes to plug in the cables. I'm on the air in just a couple of minutes, maybe 5-10 instead of half an hour. I can't say enough about the guys at HRO Ham Radio Outlet. This isn't a sales pitch, but I placed the order online for a magnetic mount instead of this diamond trunk lid mount, and plus a antenna that I was going to put on the roof of the car. And about an hour later, I get a phone call from HRO in Salem, New Hampshire, and it said, "This won't work. You need an actual ground, not just a ground plane with that HF antenna." So we talked about it, and they found this diamond that I have attached to the trunk lid. It's all nice and bright and shiny, but I put black tape on it, so it's not real obvious on the car. And I also made a little, took a regular 3/8 inch bolt, put it in a plastic cap, and disguised that with black tape, and I use that to keep the rain and snow and everything out of the connector itself. So it's real quick to set up. It's real efficient. And to show you how efficient it is, this is the 10-meter, and I wanted to set it up and use it on both the Monday night net for the club 28475, and also on Thursdays they listen to occasionally, maybe sign into the POTA on 28413. So I put the 10-meter antenna on the car, and lo and behold, it's pretty darn flat across the whole band. It was down to 1.2 at 28375 and the same at 28413. So it's in that. This is actually on the Lab 599 has a display. It shows your SWR across the band and also when you're transmitting. And the little line here is what the frequency is that you're currently at, so you can see where you are on the curve. It's not so nice on the 80-meter. It's a lot narrower. So I've got it tuned to 3.944, so I can pick up the Sunday morning nets for voice. And I've got another whip that I'm going to tune to the digital end of the band. And results on 20-meter. This is the 20-meter digital tuned. So it's down at the lower end of the band. And I'm down to about 1.1, 1.2 for an SWR at 14,109. I was at 1,300 kilometers on 10 watts to Chattanooga, Tennessee, sending WinLink. And I was on the air in less than 10 minutes, already sending and receiving email. So it does exactly what I want it to do. So that's basically what I set up for a mobile portable unit, run it out of the car anywhere, and enjoyed working it at lunchtime. So basically that's what I set up. Any questions?
Smitty, I have a question.
Oh, go ahead, Jürgen.
Yeah, just can you explain WinLink a little bit more? I know it is an exchange of email, but how does it really work?
Well, it goes through, you can do it either peer-to-peer, which is directly radio to radio, or you can do it through the WinLink gateways. And that's what this is, through a gateway. And I send an email, and you can have all the FEMA forms and National Traffic System and any kind of form. So it's an email with attachments, but they're not really attachments. They're you type in the information and it sends the information with a reference to the form. And then when it gets to the other end, it recreates the form. So you're cutting down on what you're transmitting. But you can, I can send emails to just people at WinLink or anybody that I know an email for. It'll go through the radio, then through the Wi-Fi or whatever they're hooked up at the other end of the gateway. And you can even send emails by Wi-Fi. You don't need a radio with WinLink. I can do it just on my tablet, or so you can do it VHF, UHF, HF on just a Wi-Fi link or digital data on the tablet if I had it hooked up and shared on my phone. So it's basically a very versatile, robust. It's similar processing as FT8, so it's very low noise capable. But it works. I mean, 10 watts at 1,300 kilometers, and I could send status reports. I could send hospital forms. I could send FEMA forms. I can send weather reports. Whatever you want to send, you can do with WinLink.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Any other questions? Do the judges have any questions?
I was just gonna say, nice job. Looks like you put a lot of work into it and a lot of studying, and it looks very nice.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks very much, Smitty. It looks good. Everything you do there is you keep getting into this cool stuff. Anyways, thank you for presenting, and we're going to move on to Jeffrey, NT1K. You're up.
All right, thank you. Well, it's going to be a twofer. I got two projects. Well, I have a lot of projects I was working on, but I've been sort of out of ham radio sort of for the past couple of years, focused on family and other projects. And I told myself this year I want to sort of get back into doing things related to amateur radio. One of the things I missed was doing summits on the air or POTA, or I've never really done any POTA, but other than the 2016, the MPOTA, but I wanted to do something portable related. So I, of course, sold all my portable rigs, sold the KX3. So I was like, I need something new. So of course, me being the cheap ham I am, I said, I wonder what the cheapest option for me to do sideband portably or on the air, or I mean, do a soda, or the cheapest I can do it. But I also wanted the best bang for my dollars. So one of the first things I built this year was it's called a True SDX. It's also, I got it right here in my hand. It is about the size of the board width and height is about, or not height, the board width and height is about the same thing as a credit card. This is a all mode. You can do sideband, CW, RIDI. You know, if you hook up a computer to it, you could do all the digital modes right from this little device right here. It'll give out 5 watts of power. It has a lot of neat little features in it compared to a lot of the QRP rigs I'm used to, you know, the kit rigs that I used to buy a lot of. For example, it does CW decoding. You can use it as a CW trainer. It has all these other things about power and whoops, wrong image. You know, so that's what it looks like when it's in its complete state. This is my second one I'm building. I have my first one at work because I'm trying to develop a metal case to give back to the community. I'm making these little cases that will actually fold, so I could flat ship them to people and they could fold it themselves and have a metal case instead of the 3D printed one that's on my screen. So I've actually made some contacts with it. I sent some CQs in CW, and I've made multiple sideband and multiple CW contacts on it. So it's been a real fun. It's a real fun little device. You can get them online now. They're more available. There's a website called dl2man.de. It's a German ham that worked on this particular project because it's a fork. It's been modified from another project called the Micro SDX. So he calls this one the True Micro SDX. Neat little radio. I love it. There is one complaint. It's the audio. I thought I messed up soldering it, but I found out when I was building my second unit, this one here, that the audio is not the best. So you have to wear earphones or something if you're outside, because ambient noise will drown it out. And if you turn it too high, there's something with one of the circuits where it creates a feedback loop and you start hearing whining noises. But other than that, it's a really excellent radio. 5 bands. You get was it the 80, 40, some of the Warwick bands, and 20. I forgot which Warwick. I think it's 17 and 12 and 20. I wish it had 10 meters, but I heard they're coming out with different versions with different bands as time goes on. But it's a neat little radio. So that was my first project that I was doing.
Jeff, how much does that cost?
So if you go to the dl2man.de website, he has approved vendors that They required the vendors to send him a unit to test. So you could buy them on AliExpress for like $80 as a kit. It's all the SMDs and there's a lot of SMDs on here. They're already pre-mounted. So everything that comes to you is through hole. So it's not that horrible, but you do have to wind a lot of toroids. There's 12 little tiny toroids you have to wind. So that's about $89. You can buy a fully built with the case and everything. You just get in the mail and you can turn it on for I think $130. So it's not that bad. Yes, sir.
No, sounds like a cool little project.
Yeah, the price isn't bad. I figured for the price, if I mess it up too bad, I won't have too much buyer's remorse. And the second project I got, I'll try to make it quick. I found myself when I was operating more at work during my lunchtime or break times. I'd be on FT8, I'd be doing remote, and with the flex, it makes life a lot easier. I've done a meeting about that, but my only issue is I can't switch antennas. I could switch between the two antennas that the flex allows me to switch to remotely, but I have had at one time 6 antennas and I couldn't switch them. So I started getting serious about station automation, and I wanted to be able to remotely switch my antennas, but of course I am cheap. So I wanted to find the cheapest way to switch from 2 radios, what they call a 2x6 configuration, 2 radio or 2 inputs with 6 variable outputs. So the cheapest option I found was from a ham on the other side of the state. His name is KK1L. Of course, my green screen takes out the board. So let me see if I could share my screen here. All right. All right. Let's see if it'll share here. I think I'm sharing. Did everyone see the board, or is it something else?
No, you can see the board.
Okay, so what you see here is a KK1L 2x6 switch array. It's just all relay base. He designed it very well. There's about 60 dB of isolation between antennas. So that's pretty excellent, even for high power. And what I got controlling the relay is something a little different, though. It's called a Freak EZ2. It's a device by a ham named Larry, K8UT. He also makes the Morty. If anyone's in the RIDI, there's a little hardware device called a Morty. So he sells these hats that you could put on a Raspberry Pi. So what this switch allows me to do is I can control this switch anywhere in the world. I can go, it's because it's hooked through my network. So you'll see up towards the top of the image here a Ethernet cable. Yeah, Ethernet cable coming in. Of course, my Raspberry Pi also has Wi-Fi, and there's a Windows-based program that he developed that can run along with it. I can manually control the switches, but I also have it so the software, my logging software, DX Labs, and my contesting software, N1MM Plus, will automatically switch antennas for me based on either the parameters I programmed into it or the band data or the UDP packets that I have N1MM sending across my network. So there's multiple ways to control this antenna. It works over, the relays work over 12 volts, which is fed into the Raspberry Pi hat. You'll see the red wire here. So you'll see 12 volts coming in. It gets passed through, depending on which relay I activate, to the board, and it will switch the antennas. There is some pretty cool things to prevent from 2 radios from accessing the same antenna, both on the switch itself, and there's software constraints that would prevent a situation where 2 people select the same antenna, because I have actually building 2 of these. One of these is for my station, and another one is for a portable setup I plan on doing, where we're going to have 2 radios sharing a bank of 5 antennas. So we want to make sure that the 2 radios don't connect to the same antenna. So it's good for what they call a single operator 2 radio situation. But this time it's going to be for this situation I'm planning for, it's going to be a 2 radio 2 operator situation. So, and it would and I have other kits that I've been building, but I didn't want to present tonight. Mostly bandpass filters and triplexers, where I can combine. I could take a tri-bander and convert it into 3 separate antennas, so 2 people can be on the same antenna. It's sort of like what we do for field day. Yeah, that's it. That's my case. That's it. Of course, I'm a metal fabricator by trade, and I hope to make cases for these very soon. I haven't had access to the. I have access to my laser, but I don't have access to the press brake department or powder coating. So all my metal work has been on hold lately because we're so busy. So hopefully, before I need to really use them, I hope to have these things in enclosures, especially with the True SDX there. I want to start selling them in mass. So yeah, that is it. So back to you, Larry.
Sounds good.
Or
Excellent.
any questions, I should say.
Yeah. Any questions for Jeff?
Look, just say, looks nice. A lot of work there. And as usual, I'm sure the metal work will be super.
I hope.
Jeff, what is the power rating on those relays?
The relay, I know it can handle a full 1500 watts, no problem.
Oh.
Exact what what voltage can go across of them, I'm not sure, but
No, I was
these-
more
the-
in the output. Yeah.
yeah, these are used in a lot of contest stations. A lot of the YCCC guys have adopted these 2x6s, and yeah, I can handle 1500 watts, no problem.
Jeff, I was curious as to what on sideband on that QRP rig, what are you using for a microphone? What?
Oh yeah, that's another point I forgot to mention. There is an onboard microphone, so you could use this as an HT. Of course, you'd need one heck of a long antenna for it to be. I did all my sideband contacts on the onboard microphone, and I'll be honest, it's not the best thing. I'm gonna see if I can get it really close to the camera, but it's right near the audio jacks here. Or if I point,
Oh, yeah.
it's
Okay.
right near the so it's
I
a
see
little
it.
tiny thing, but it works. I've made contacts with it, but no, I just have like a cheap little bow thing that came with one of my radios that I packed together, and I'll use that instead. But I keep when I tried it outside, I have earphones on because the audio is not the best, but everything else is good.
Okay, thanks.
Yes.
Can you put a condenser microphone in there?
In here, there's no voltage for it, if I'm right.
Okay.
I don't think there's I don't think there's voltage for it. I'm not 100% sure. I didn't look into it, but I wanted to trade out the capsule for something bigger. And I tried it, and it was just, the audio was so low that I knew that I needed some kind of transistor in there or a JFET or something to provide it more power. But I tried putting a bigger diameter capsule and it didn't work.
Jeff, when you ordered the kit from Germany, how long did it take to come in approximately?
I didn't order the kit from Germany. The German ham that is doing this project, he didn't want to be responsible for any of the PCB work, so he sourced it out to anyone. He basically made a whole package for anyone to organize a group buy, and that's how I came across it first. And back in January, was a U.S. ham was sourcing all the PCB boards components, and he was putting together kits and sending them out. But then around the late February, the Chinese company started making these, and the author that made this particular radio actually received the radios and approved them himself. So it's not like you're buying some unknown thing if it works or not, because there are what they call micro SDXs all over the AliExpress sites that are horrendous radios, and they're selling like hotcakes. But this one, the ones you find on AliExpress, if it's an approved vendor from that guy's website, dl2man.de, if it's an approved vendor, you'll get a good radio. Because my Chinese one, he got the same kit the same day I did, and he put it through the ringer, and he says they did a good build on it. So yes, it's coming from directly shipped from China. It took me 3 weeks. The US group buy took me 3 months. So the Chinese was a lot faster.
Excellent. Any other questions for Jeff on either of the two projects?
Jeff, can you say a little bit about the technology? I think they do some kind of direct synthesis of the single sideband signal or something very, very sophisticated.
I'll be honest, it's above my pay grade. I should read into it more, but it's a little above my pay grade. It works. I listened to myself over SDR, web SDR, listen to it. It's a good signal. And I did have it hooked up to my spectrum analyzer, and it filters work decent. It passes 97, so I'm satisfied with it. But
okay,
as for how they get sideband out of into the path, I'm not 100% sure on it.
Okay, I bought one of the Chinese clones of that, and it was a piece of junk.
Yeah,
Uh,
that was what, that's the thing, is that's why I was trying to point out the TRU micro SDX, because there's a micro SDX that's all over the Chinese sites, and I've heard nothing but horrendous things about them, and they come in like in this extruded aluminum thing with some soft rubbery buttons. Those, if you'll see those for like, I think $130 or $160, and no, they're horrendous. But no, this one has been approved by the guy who designed it. So I trust it.
Cool. Any other questions for Jeff? Excellent. Thank you for the presentation, Jeff. Very interesting. Let's moving on to John, K1YYM. The floor is yours.
Hello. Well, after those two presentations, we're gonna head to the world of newbies now. So I got my first HF radio last year, and I obviously made my first contact in last year in like June or something like that. But I had to set up an antenna. Getting the radio, of course, was very easy, but I had to do the kind of the hard work. So I'm going to show you. Let me share my screen here. Yeah. And oops, this is in the way. So is this showing?
You had it originally.
Yeah. Can you see it now?
Nope.
No. So I presented it as a slideshow, and I guess it's not.
So, as soon as you clicked on the slideshow button, it went away.
Yeah, it doesn't like that. Okay. Okay. I don't need a slideshow. But you can see this.
I can see, we can see you.
You can only see me.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have more than one screen?
Might have to stop and reshare.
I think, yeah, that's exactly what so I apologize for this. I think this is what I want. That looks right.
There you go.
Okay. So I bought an antenna, and I bought a bunch of coax, and I wanted to do this absolutely as cheap as possible. So I bought a box from Amazon, and I had also just recently met Najim earlier last year, I guess it was, and he was very kind enough to allow me to email him and call him multiple times to ask for guidance on certain things, how certain things should be done. So I was able to construct the box with the lightning arrestor and the cable and stuff. I put all this up myself, and here's the box, and the box itself, and this cable goes up to my chimney, which is where one of the points of the end-fed half-wave antenna resides. And so this box I had this copper sheeting in the attic of my garage, and I just put I got this cheap box, and I cut some little wooden blocks, and I put them behind there, and I screwed the copper into there, and then I grounded. You can see, is my mouse visible?
Yes.
Okay. So I grounded that and put in a grounding rod in, right in front of it, and that works. It worked really well. It all, it was kind of fun, little project. And then I had to get on the roof, and at 62, I'm not quite as agile as I used to be, so that was a little hairy at times. But got up on the roof, and this is kind of ugly, but because I couldn't quite figure out how to do it right. But again, I was working with as cheap materials as I could, and unfortunately, once I secured this, it kind of was at an angle. So I think I'll be going back up on the roof this spring. But basically brought the cable up, and attached it. Everything seemed to be pretty solid. And this MFJ antenna, I basically just took it out of the box, and I didn't adjust a single thing, and was able to attach it there and attach it to this tree, which is in my yard. This is me up there. I had, I'm actually a rock climber, so I had all the equipment to get up there, but I'm not used to climbing trees, so I kind of beat myself up a little bit at times. But what I did is I attached, right about up in here, I attached a little pulley such that I have paracord basically terminating here, connecting to the end of the end-fed antenna, end of the wire, and it goes through this pulley, and then the pulley goes down the tree to a spring. I'll say, I think I have a picture of me. Yeah, there I am, hanging from the tree. So the paracord goes down, and then this spring is attached to the tree, and then the paracord through a carabiner is attached to the spring. So when the tree moves, and it can move sometimes quite a bit, that spring just goes up and down, which I think is probably a pretty standard way to deal with these. But I was very happy to discover it worked great. I have a little video here, but I don't think it's actually going to render. No, okay, it's not worth it. But you can see this is how I attach that. And so now the antenna was up, and I had to interface with go through the house, through the wall, to get to my radio. And I'm going to back up here a little bit because you can see this here is dangling. This is actually what was going to be connecting to the other end. I was going to put this little piece, this wooden piece I was building in there, connect that to there, and then through little couplers. Where am I? Here. So I just took a board, I cut some holes out, I put some metal on it, screwed it in there, put these, what was it, SO239 couplers, I guess, and ended up with this, and then stuck it into the window. And I just pushed it down, I screwed in the wires and on both ends. And actually this is missing something because I realized I didn't have any way to ground it. So I had to drill another hole, and I put in grounding wire, but I don't have a picture of that. And the end result was, for the first time, I actually had an HF station and made my first contact. And within, I powered it up and ended up having like a SWR of like 1.2. It was like I didn't have to do basically anything. I was very lucky, and was talking to someone in Lithuania. So that's my shack, which I now work with, and that's it.
Excellent. Any questions for John? And you can unshare you can turn off your sharing, John. There you go.
Oh, nice job. I'm glad you didn't fall off the roof or anything. That's good. And
thank you.
Hey, and it worked, so that says a lot.
Nice job, John. Except, you climbing on the roof or hanging from the tree wasn't my idea. So
no, you did not suggest
I'll
that.
give you, bravery for, for doing it, but, just be careful. So, but good job.
Hey, John?
Thank you. Yeah.
What's the power handling capability of the antenna? Is that just for 100 watts, or can it do legal limit?
I don't remember. It's an MFJ 10 to 40 meter antenna. Honestly, I don't remember. I only have 100 watts, so yeah, I don't know.
Larry, I've got one that'll handle 800 watts, and
Wow.
I put a little over 500 into it at times. But they do make I believe, a full legal limit one too, or ones.
Well, just in case you wanted to get an amplifier later on.
Right. Oh, thank you.
Okay, excellent presentation, John, and glad to hear you're working DX and working the world. That's which is what counts. And we're also glad you didn't fall out of the tree. All right, very good. Thank you very much. And moving on to Ray, AA1SE, you're up.
Here I am. Yeah, I stay grounded with my projects. I basically, I'm quite surprised that Jeff was pretty similar to what I was doing with one project, but I do have a twofer. And just recently completed them. And the first one is the in-fed antenna that the ARRL was selling, or still is. So it's a 250 watt. It's basically the kit is the box here. And you basically get the box. You have to drill the holes for your connections. But the fun thing, which I thought was easy, but turned out to be a little bit more challenging, is that nice little donut in there, winding it up. I know it's a simple one compared to some of the others, but just to get it to look right in the picture, I had to fumble around a little bit. And then of course, I had taken, like all guys, you don't read the instructions through. And then I had to take it apart because they said, oh, you got to scrape the coating off the wire or it won't connect well. Okay, do it over again. But it's untested, but the kit, which I think it's like $70 at through the league, comes with 66 feet of wire and all the hardware, everything necessary, and plus it gives you a spot for a counterpoise, which I got another hunk of wire set up for that. And I'm just waiting for the weather to break, and I'm going to test it out and see how this works. The instructions, there's two ways that you can get the instructions, and that's through the manufacturer's website, which is HF Kits, and that's it right there. And the only challenge that you have is you have to convert metric to English for the measurements. But the ARRL advertises this as a 10 through 40. But what the instructions from the manufacturers give you is instructions on building coils so that you could extend it out to 80 meters if you want. So I thought that was a pretty neat little feature. Now, they don't have these on the ARRL website instructions, but it's easy to get to these instructions. And my next step is to build one of these coils to accommodate the full-blown 80, I think, 10 through 80. So I figured if I'm going to be doing a little camping and stuff, this might be a little neat little toy to experiment with and see how this works. That and test my kit building skills. So I got that little gem. The best one is this sucker right here. This is a Morse Reno. This is a CW trainer. And when Jeff brought up his board there, I looked at that one. It's like, wow, that looks familiar. It looks almost like mine, but it is basically an Arduino-based kit, and it did come from Europe, and it costs, I think, all told with the shipping, about $100. But it's a neat little unit. Again, excellent instructions. They're beautiful instructions, and this thing I'm finding out is so versatile because not only is it, low power CW, but it's also a trainer. You could actually set it so that there's different modes. Come on, there we go. It's got a CW generator, an echo trainer, Koch trainer, and it's also can be used as a transceiver. The other beautiful thing too is that it's also Wi-Fi capable, so you could tie it into your internet. It's got a small battery on the bottom. It's a rechargeable lithium ion. You kind of have to buy those separately, And if you go to Amazon, I think, yeah, I paid like 20 bucks and I got 6 of them. So I'll never run out of juice. But also you could hook it up to a 5-watt USB charging device, and you could keep it plugged in all the time. You don't even need the battery. And like Jeff's project, the sound isn't the greatest. Let's go back to, see, let me key here. I mean, it'll do enough. And plus it's got the headphone jack. It's got a jack that you can tie into your computer. You could actually plug this right into your transceiver. And I tried that with my FT991A, no problems. This thing just shined nicely. And the best part of it is I put this kit together, it works. That's an achievement in itself, but it's the screen is very small. Let's see if we can see it there. It's a very small screen, but it's very legible, so you can see it. And these are the touch paddles. And of course, there's the Wi-Fi antenna, and there's also a what the heck do they call it? A LoRa antenna. So there's some type of a transceiver on a 70 centimeter band, and right there's a little itty bitty spring that you can see it, and that's actually the LoRa antenna. And again, instructions are very good. And if you're traveling, nice and easy. All you got to do is take these off, put them in a little box, fold that down or unscrew it, and you could travel with it very safely. And the reason why I bought this is if I'm traveling, I could set this up to practice CW, which I have been doing for a better part of the winter. And I thought that this was a nice little enhancement. So when I do any traveling, also another nice little feature to this too is that it's very precise. So if you're saying, like, if you're making this thing do a Koch trainer and you've got it set for 15 words a minute, this thing will not accept anything but 15 words a minute. So any small errors, any little short or long timings, and it kicks you right off. So this basically will teach you to be very precise with your keying. And I'm very happy with it. I haven't really played it out yet, but for the price, I think this was a fun little toy. I'm going to have a lot of fun with it. And other than that, I try to make it short and sweet for you guys. I'm open for questions and more kits.
Any questions for Ray?
Ray,
How much does it
where
cost?
did you get that CW trainer?
If you go to Morse Reno, do a Google search, it actually goes right to their website. I think I got it right here. Let's see. Oh, it doesn't have it on here. But yeah, it's github.com, and just do a search for Morse Reno. It's MORSERINO.
Okay.
Ray, how much did it cost you?
This cost me with the shipping about $100.
Okay.
So it is actually an inexpensive little device. You do some soldering, some basic wiring, put it together. It comes with the plastic kit, and yeah, I was very happy that it lit right up the get-go. Usually I don't have that luck.
Other questions for Ray? I thought there was one or two other people that had questions. No. Any other comments from our judges?
What is the, you said you can use it as a transceiver. What's the frequency range there, or what band can you transmit?
I'm sorry, I couldn't,
You said that it works also as a transceiver. On what band?
yeah, that's the one thing that I was just getting to. I'm still getting used to this, but it is in here in the instructions. And again, a lot of pages. Let's see.
It's for the 432 meg ISM band.
It's possible, yeah. It's the first one is a self-contained transceiver for communication with Morse code using LoRa spread spectrum radio technology in the standard version on the 433 megahertz band. And the other is a transceiver mode that can be used either with an external transceiver, such as my 991A or other transceiver, or with a protocol like ICW, which is CW over the internet.
Okay,
Cool.
thanks.
Any other questions for Ray? No? Excellent. Ray, thank you very much for presenting. Got some neat projects there. It's good to see that the antenna that the league is offering is of good quality and solid. And
I'm actually very surprised. It is a really good,
Hey,
solid piece of.
hey Ray, on the NFED, is the external hardware that's on the outside, is that stainless or is it zinc or zinc
Stainless.
coated? Oh, it's stainless. That's good.
okay, excellent. And then the Morse Arena looks really neat. That's cool. So maybe we'll hear you on CW one of these days on HF.
I'm still trying. I'm still practicing.
Well, that's good. That's good. Okay, moving on to Al N1AW. You're up, dude.
Okay, this is going to be real quick. You've probably seen these things that Quicksilver sells them, little voltmeter integrated circuit things. Handy way to use them is to put a couple of power poles back to back. So you got basically a little voltmeter that's useful whenever you're using portable power. And just to
Okay. Oh, is that it? Where do you go?
He's muted, I think.
Hey, Al, you're muted.
You're muted, Al. We can't hear you. All right.
You wanna
don't
send
have
him a
enough hands.
message?
Okay, I gotta press the space bar. For my soda operations, I want to check on my battery. So I just have this thing in line with the battery, or any battery operated device, or when I'm charging the battery, just a handy little way to have a voltmeter handy without anything that's going to go loose, like elevated, no clips to come loose or anything like that. So that's it. Also, I probably made this more than 365 days ago. I don't really remember.
Sounds good. Najim, you look like you have a question.
So what does it measure? Voltage only, or does it measure current too?
They make them that measure current, but you've got to have a separate power supply for that. So that it's not really as useful for this kind of an application. But this, it just, for up to 30 volts, you just connect the power wire to the positive wire for what you're measuring. And that's all you have to do. So there are similar things for current, but not suitable for this kind of quick and easy application.
Okay.
Cool. Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, I got one.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Does it leak any RF? Because I have similar ones, and as soon as I put them in line, it causes broadband noise everywhere.
I haven't heard it with what I do, which is normally CW on 40, 30, or 20 meters. Haven't noticed any problem with noise from it.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. Al, thanks very much for that little idea for everybody. Do we have anybody else that would like to present a project tonight? If you can raise your hand or let me know or voice out something. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to our judges. And what do you have to say about our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 presenters tonight?
Big question. Do we have 5 prizes or just 2?
We just have 2, but
Oh.
well, we might be able to arrange something. You never know. The power of the board.
Folks, did you see the message from Ann and Keith? They were talking about building one of those Morcerinos. It flashed up on my screen in text. I don't know if everybody else saw it.
I
They
think
might
it
be
almost,
talking to you personally.
no,
No,
I
it
think
went
it's,
out to everybody.
I think it said they each built one, maybe. I wasn't sure. It went by kind of quick.
Yeah, it says Keith and I have built 2 more Serenos here. Love this kit. Can use online also to have CW QSOs with bots. We love the Echo Trainer and Keyer modes.
Huh.
And that's from Ann N1YL and Keith KU1UN. I don't know. All right, so let's I'm gonna go to each of the judges and let me know what you think, what you might be endorsing as the first and second prize, and maybe we can find something for the other 3 people too. So you're up first, Bob.
Great.
Yeah, like being put on the spot, right?
I didn't know we were doing it in front of everybody. I liked all the projects. I think they all had some good value. People put a lot of time in. It's really tough. I liked Smitty's project there, putting a bunch of stuff together. I thought that was really neat, and he's getting some good use out of it. Jeff's little project there, and the antenna switch was particularly cool because it's kind of a real homebrew thing. I like John up on the roof. I mean, I give him credit for climbing the tree in the roof. That's worth a lot. I mean, Ray, I don't know, just everybody. I mean, boy, I don't know. It's tough. I'd like to hear what the other guys have to say, and it's pretty tough because everybody put some real thought into it and some work and made something useful. So it's tough.
All right, let's move. I'm gonna do Najim last since he's chomping at the. So let's go to Jürgen first. What's
Okay. Again, I liked all the projects. I always like if anybody or some people just do something, you know.
Yeah.
And it's always very, very difficult to judge the project. I like the Smitty. It was a very nice documentation. I like Jeff because Jeff liked to build things, and so was the antenna installation. Now I suggested, and I made I think and I was still on the board. I said we should not really vote. We should draw. Everybody who submits a project gets put in the bucket, and then we draw 2 prizes. I think that makes it more fair for everybody. So I asked Najim what he thinks about that.
You're up, Najim.
I'm gonna echo what Bob and Jürgen said. I think everybody put some real effort into it. That's why I asked. I mean, each one has merits. Personal effort is is great, and at least we're getting back into the. Even though we're doing it to Zoom, I mean, I didn't expect to have 5 people, that put, but it was very well done from everyone. Again, we're not judging the size or let's say how much the kit costs. It doesn't matter. So whether it costs $100 or a few bucks, that's irrelevant. Again, it's a tough, tough situation, but I think everyone did, did a great job for, the spirit of ham radio. So,
Yeah, Najim, what do you think about Jürgen's idea?
I've got it. Actually, I've got a
different.
I've got a different idea. I'll throw it out at the board and tonight, and then we'll see what everybody has to say. But the 5 of you, thank you very much. Smitty, Jeff, John, Ray, and Al. Very cool stuff tonight, and hopefully it inspired some others out who are those of us that are watching to maybe pick something up and buy something or build something. And John, bring your climbing stuff. We'll have you up in the trees for field day. And all, but you guys are all winners. This was really good. Very inspiring, very interesting, and none of the projects are all that expensive. So there's something for everybody. to do.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's project served a real purpose. I mean, Al's voltmeter, it serves a purpose. Ray's project, I mean, everybody's project, really served a purpose. So it's quite tough to pick one over the other.
Okay, so we'll leave it at everybody's a winner, and you might have a surprise coming in your mailbox someday soon. So anyways, thank you all for presenting. That's great. Got a couple more announcements, and two things I forgot, which is for those of you that don't know, I'm sort of chairing a booth at the Big E from September 16th to October 2nd. We're going to need volunteers. We're going to do a special event station. I just submitted to try to get N1E as the special event call sign. And so we'll have a 17-day special event station. And we have a 300 square foot booth at the Big E. And so we're going to need people to man the booth, and it has to be manned for all 12 hours from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., which really means 9 a.m. You got to get there if you want to avoid the crowd. So it's really like a 13-hour day, and hopefully breaking it down into 6 to 7 hour periods. But we're going to be looking for volunteers. We're going to need help with setup. We're going to need help with tear down. Some behind the scenes stuff is coming together. If we're really lucky, we might be doing an ARIS contact from the booth, which is amateur radio on the International Space Station. Myself and Fred AB10C and Bob K5TEC from New England SciTech are working together. And if we're lucky, we'll be doing a contact from the booth sometime during the Big E, which can be really cool. I've already talked to the Big E about that. They are like beyond excited that something like this can happen, and we may end up using they may end up giving us the big stage where they do music presentations, where bands perform to do the context. So, but it's all in the works. Nothing's solid yet. The application's been submitted, and we're just waiting for it to be approved. It's sort of quick and last minute, but it could be very, very exciting for the booth, for the Big E, for West Springfield. It's never been done at anywhere except a school, an ARIS contact. So being, it'll put a big mark for the Big E and the whole area. So that's something that's in the works. You can go to Project Big E on groups.io and sign up, and probably hopefully by the end of 30 days we'll have everything locked down and we'll know exactly what we need for volunteers. Also, I'm the state manager for K2H, which is 13 Colonies on the Air, which happens every July 1st to 7th. Right now I've got about 20 ops that are signed up. You have to be in Massachusetts. And also what the ops do is they sign up for certain time slots and they operate. They can be CW, they can be sideband, they can be 2-meter FM, satellite, digital, whatever you may want to operate. Last year we made our most we've ever made for contacts. We made a little over 15,200 contacts, with the bands being much hotter this year. I'm really hoping we exceed 18,000, maybe as much as 20,000 contacts. So it's a lot of excitement. If you've ever been in a pileup trying to break through to DX, being that station, the DX station is what it's like operating K2H. It's a hell of a lot of fun. You can make a crazy amount of contacts in a short period of time, and you've got 7 days to do it. The first year I participated, which was 4 years ago, I made like 1,500 contacts in the 7 days. And I've never done less than 1,000 contacts over the 7 days. But you don't have to do that. You just need to be able to get on between July 1st and July 7th, a couple hours a day, log computer wise, and it's great fun. And also, if you're interested in doing that, you can send me an email at w1ast@arrl.net, and you can be an activator. And I just ask that you have the capability of being on 4 or 5 hours a day, or 4 or 5 days of the week, excuse me. Our goal is to have everybody make at least 500 contacts. Sometimes the weather doesn't cooperate, and thunderstorms and all that have cursed us the last 2 years, but it's a lot of fun. And right now we have 8 or 9, I think we have 9 HCRA members that are activators. So if you're interested, drop me an email. Let's see, I mentioned before that Zero Beat has lots and lots of good information, as does the website, hcra.org. Vanessa does a great job keeping the website up to date and posting the things that we send to her. If you have any skills in WordPress, we're looking for an assistant for Vanessa. So you can contact myself or contact webmaster at hcra.org and talk to Vanessa, and she'll gauge whether you might be useful or not, as far as knowing WordPress and all. And let's see, are there any other announcements from anybody?
I got one.
Whoever that was, go right ahead.
Oh, that would be me.
Oh, go ahead, Ray.
Yeah, I don't know if how many of you were aware, but I had formed a group together with a couple of other clubs, the Montechusett, the Central Mass Club, as well as the Mohawk Club in this area, Leominster, Lunenburg, Gardner. And we came up with a team that is doing license classes. And there's a couple of individuals here that went through our class, so they could vouch for what we did. But out of that class, we had 12 people go to the test, and 10 of them came out with licenses. So this turned out to be a huge success. So right now we're in the planning stages of getting a general class session going, and wound up with a little bit of a snag, but we're working through that. But what we're looking for is now, with this being such a success, I want to open it up to the clubs. Now, this doesn't take away from what you currently have for trainings and testings, but if you do need, or if you know people there, if they want to take the class, we'll have it available, especially general and extra, which that usually doesn't happen too much. But we're looking for teachers. And because the sessions that we have are a little bit more in depth than some of the other sessions that other people have. So I'd like to break it up. There's about three of us right now that are doing the teachings. I'd like to get some more so that we don't get burnt out.
Ray, are those in person or are those on Zoom?
They're Zoom. It's all Zoom. So you could just basically, have a latte or a water or whatever right there, and turn on your thing there, and just go through the presentations that we have. And what we do is we take and we do the presentation, which is the usual PowerPoint, and we throw in some commentary, to support the question and the answer. And also, there's also another teacher that's usually in the background, and he'll throw in like a color commentary. So it adds a little bit to that, and also gives people a little bit more reinforcement of the questions, and hopefully that it retains their knowledge far better. So I'm looking for teachers. And like I said, it's not to take away from what you currently have, but we are making it available to the section. So if you want to join up, just shoot me an email. Don't use the .org address though. Go to aa1se@arrl.net, and I can fill you in on the details. Thanks.
Cool. Excellent. Thank you, Ray. I forgot to mention earlier, we have 2 people that are new to the meeting. I'd like to welcome Lauren. What's your call, Lauren?
KE1DW.
Okay, KE1DW.
Kilo Echo 1 Delta Whiskey.
Okay, welcome to the HCRA meeting, and
Thank you.
hopefully, and I think you're on the net Monday night too. Is that? Okay.
Yeah, I
Well,
made it
Hopefully
I'm
we'll,
setting up my new station, so I'm excited for that. So
well, good. Well, hopefully we'll see you in more activities too. And Paul, welcome to our meeting too. Are you a ham and do you have a call?
Yeah, I was part of Ray's class.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. I passed and I also passed my general at the same time.
Excellent. What's your call?
I'm KC1 QVM
Okay,
and
excellent.
I've only been on the air once with my HT. So I'm working on starting up my shack. So it's going to be a
Okay.
little.
Well, if you need some help or you want to see, you know, what HF is like, there's a lot of us, myself included. You know, if you want to come into our shack and try HF or listen or see what radios are like, where are you located, Paul?
I'm out in Westfield.
Okay. Okay, great, great. And Lauren, you're located somewhere in South Hadley?
yeah, QTH is South Hadley, Massachusetts.
Okay, good.
And I was licensed in 1992. I'm advanced, so it doesn't exist anymore, but it's almost extra, but not quite.
Yeah,
So
don't feel
wanna
bad.
find-
I've had my advance since August of '81. I still am advanced. So.
I want that 25 kilohertz though, so I'm gonna work on my extra soon.
Cool. Okay. Well, great. Well, both of you, welcome to the club. We're active. We're diverse. There's lots of interests, and as you can see from the meeting tonight, lots of different interests and lots of things to do. And if you have any questions, drop an email to the HCRA email group. We have you can go to the website, you can ask a question, and we have a Facebook group too. You can join if you're active on Facebook, and there's always somebody that can answer the question or that can help you out. If you need any help, just reach out. So we have next month, we have our May meeting is on antenna modeling. And then in June, we have our elections and field day. And as I mentioned, we have our share the knowledge, 3 of those coming up for April also after this. June 25th, the weekend of June 25th is field day. We're going to be back at the School Street Park in Agawam. It's basically down River Road and down School Street and come right in. We'll be setting up from around noon on Friday and until tear down, which is usually between 3 and 4 by the time everything's done on Sunday. Some of us will be camping out there from Friday through Sunday. Others show up, work a block of time, go home, and then come back again. But you're welcome to camp out with us. You're welcome to do any which way. We're going to need people for setup. We're going to need operators for sideband and CW. We hope to have a go-to station running this year, and we're going to need people to tear down. We have a field day raffle for those that put in 3 consecutive hours of some sort of help, whether that be assembling, disassembling, or operation. And we always have a good prize. It's worth over $100, and it's a surprise what this year's is. But it's something that every ham could use, and every ham does use too. And sometimes it's better to have more than one. So that's coming up the weekend of June 25th. There'll be a lot more information on that in the May and June issues of Zero Beat. Let's see here. And that's it. Any other last minute announcements or comments or questions? Thank you all for joining us tonight. It was a lot of fun, and everybody have a great, safe weekend, and hope to hear you on the air too. 7 3s and enjoy.